Welcome to my podcast. I'm your podcaster, Professor Henry Bwis of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Kenya. Today I want to talk about failure. And I'm saying, you and I were not born to fail. Failure or lack of success is considered a big issue by many. Yes, fail. F-A-I-L. It is as though the letters of the word F-A-I-L mean F forever, A alienated, I in L life. Somebody fails and they think we are forever alienated in life. That is how bad failure or fail is looked upon. Now, in schools, failure is defined as low or no grades. When a child brings a report card with F at home, parent, what's this? And even if the child said, sorry, Papa, he's likely to be flogged because the child failed. At work, failure may be not meeting set targets, no profitability, no break even, and therefore businesses close because failure is bad. In life, failure is defined largely by poverty. The beggars on the streets say they failed in life. Now, I traversed the net about the issue of failure. In Kenya, for example, at that source, as in many other countries, children are taught that low grades or no grade is failure, and that's a bad thing. Elsewhere, Asia, for example, teachers mercilessly beat pupils for failing to complete maths. A student at Yale University, he sues the university for unfair dismissal. And we are told the university automatically dismisses any student who receives a failing grade in a course while on an academic warning. And there was this in Kenya again. This candidate who committed suicide after parents quarreled her for failing a national examination. Yes, schools teach failure is a bad thing because their definition of failure is not what is interpreted. Yes, failure can be a good thing if you keep working to correct. Still on the net, there are some schools that teach the importance of failure. So we're saying teaching your child that failure is bad is more harmful than actually letting them just fail. Self-reflection helps long-term learning and decision making. So let's face it, mistakes and the need to change tactics are normal parts of life. So failure can be important. Failure is essential to learning, that is at Edutopia. Wholesale problems such as the achievement gap and the high school dropout rate are labeled as education failures. Now, from time immemorial, people discovered how to learn from failure, how to be innovative. Indeed, to be innovative, you have to be willing to experiment and fail a few times. Well, failures we know, commonly know it stinks. It is uncomfortable and disheartening. But yes, it can also be a powerful learning tool. Entrepreneurship teaches that failure fosters innovation, that failure is a positive thing. Failure makes real entrepreneurs constantly innovate to thrive in an uncertain future. Failure is a valuable teacher for learning to innovate. Yes, from as early as before the birth of Jesus Christ, famous, successful personalities have taught about failure. Let's look at before Jesus Christ. There was Lao Tzu. Yes, China is the world's most populous country with a population exceeding 1.4 billion people. It traverses 5 geographical time zones and borders 14 countries by land. It's no surprise that it has a collection of many proverbs, one of them being, failure is not falling down, but refusing to get up. That is as early as 570 BC by Lao Tzu, who also said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And in the 19th century, we have people like Benjamin Disraeli, a British statesman and a conservative politician, who confessed that all my successes have been built on my failures. Yes, Benjamin Disraeli, successful as he was, but he says all his successes were built on his failures. And Thomas Edison, one of the most famous and prolific inventors of all time, who tried many times before he invented the electric bulb, said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is when he was told, you failed all those 99,999 times to succeed on the 10,000th time. Says, no, I was not failing. I was only learning how not to do it. Goes on to say, success doesn't just magically happen. It's the final step in a long process of innovating and learning from failure. And he says, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. That is Thomas Edison. Yes, around 1870s, the founder of IBM, International Business Machines, Thomas Watson Sr., says, getting comfortable with failure can pave way for exploration and innovation. Go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because that's where you will find success, on the far, far side of failure. And the 20th century, Napoleon Hill, who was born into poverty in America's rural Virginia at the end of the 19th century, went on to write one of the most successful self-help books of the 20th century, Think and Grow Rich. He is quoted to have said that most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. And Henry Ford, who built his first gasoline-powered horseless carriage, the quadricycle, said that failure is simply an opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Yes, Henry Ford's early businesses failed and left him broke 5 times before he founded the successful Ford Motor Company. And he says, if you've never failed, you've never tried anything new. And Einstein, Albert, in the 1950s, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. And he also once said that failure is success in progress. So, when you fail, yes, take that to be success that is coming progressively. That's what Albert Einstein tells us. Of course, he said, many times we go into business on a Me Too syndrome and duplicate existing businesses in an already saturated market and judge ourselves harshly for not succeeding. Einstein warned us, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing that it's stupid. Einstein may have been just short of telling us that never to sell ourselves short by restricting our success in comparison to the achievement of others. Never to allow our failures to dampen our positive attitude, but to use it as an inspiration and eliminate senile perception that failure is atrocious and keep a constructive attitude. Still in the 20th century, around 1950, Sir Ken Robinson, a British author, speaker, and international advisor on education, said, if you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. And he says, for most of us, the problem isn't that we aim too high and fail. No, it's just the opposite. We aim too low and succeed. And Nobel Peace Prize winner 1957, Lester Pearson, he says, the only failures are those who fail to try. Failures are made only by those who fail to dare, not by those who dare to fail. And Robert Kiyosaki, best known as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the #1 personal finance book of all time, says that losers quit when they fail. Winners fail until they succeed. Look at that again. Losers quit when they fail, but winners fail until they succeed. So, don't waste a good mistake. Learn from it. Robert advises us. And following in the steps, the two famous American basketballer, Michael Jordan, once said, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Listen to that. Missed more than 9,000 shots, lost 300 games, 26 times trusted to shoot the winning shot, but missed, failed over and over again, and that's why I succeed. He says, I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. So, terminating life because of failure is a bad option. And Nelson Mandela, South African anti-apartheid activist, was arrested on several occasions and stood trial 4 times and went on to spend over 27 years in prison, but still emerged to serve as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, said, do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Yes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got up again. He fell, didn't give up. In falling, he learned lessons. So failure was good for him. An entrepreneur, Bill Gates, who dropped out of Harvard and founded the world's largest business, Microsoft, and subsequently became one of the richest men in the world, said, "It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure." He also said, "I failed my exam in some subjects, but my friend passed. Now he is an engineer in Microsoft and I'm the owner." Let's not misinterpret Bill Gates to mean that we should not go to school, we should not go to exams. But let us interpret it to mean when you fail, learn something from that fail. Failure is not the end of life. That's what being told. And all the famous personalities we have talked about, they were famous, but they are revealing that they failed. Is only they never stopped trying. And during our own century, 21st century, Barack Hussein Obama too, who served as the 44th President of the United States, said, "The real test is not whether you avoid this failure, because you won't. It's whether you let it harden or sharpen you into inaction, or whether you learn from it, whether you choose to persevere. You can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you." Learning from mistakes. That is what Obama is telling us. And his wife, Michelle Obama, failure is an important part of your growth and developing resilience. Don't be afraid to fail. Indeed, these are famous people. We saw them as succeeding. They are successful. But little did we know that they succeeded after failing. That the failures were lessons that led to their successes. So when we fail once, we must wake up, like Mandela Nelson tells us. Now, perhaps we need to be born again, to be like kids. Yes, when we are small children, our mistakes are applauded. Our falling down attempts to walk up the first time are cheered by our parents. Yes, we parents, we accept, we allow our children to fail at that age. And when they fail, we applaud them, we encourage them. Why don't we encourage ourselves? Why do we fail and give up and throw in the towel? Yet, when we were watching our children try something, we encouraged them. We even held them by the armpits to direct them. Yes, failure can be hard for adults to talk about because many have been taught to hide it for a long time. To reframe your relationship with failure, it might help you to remember how you dealt with roadblocks as a child. As kids, we were naturally inquisitive. We were eager to try new things in the name of play. And when things did not go our way, instead of dwelling on what didn't work, we were quick to move on and try something new. Yes, I observed a kid building a domino effect using cloth pegs to teach about how one person can spread the COVID virus. That was in 2020. Now, when the pegs did not do a full length of falling when it triggered, he tried to activate it again. But when he did not succeed, he did not give up as a failure. He actually talked about doing it again and again. Now, let's listen to the boy. Ryan, what is it that you have made?
It's an example of domino.
Yes.
And it's a line of pegs.
Yes.
And as I'm going to tip them over, I'm going to explain you what it shows us.
Good. Go on. Tip over.
I did arrange them quite well.
Oh, good.
And then, so it tells us that a small mistake can ruin you completely. So you must be careful with everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it shows us that whatever you do, don't give up. Like when I was arranging them, it kept on falling and falling and falling. So I kept on trying and trying until I made the whole line. And also, it shows us that you must be careful. Like during this coronavirus pandemic, don't just say it's only me. It's only me. Other people are not wearing masks. It's not a must for me to keep social distance. You see, like one touch on one end will make all of them fall. You see, like you are one person and you can make over 1,000 people die just because of your silly mistake and thinking of bad things against the ways of the public health workers.
Yes. The boy believes that failure is not in his vocabulary. He tells others, let's go on, try again, never give up. Now, the Swahili who inhabit East Africa encourages us with the saying of kuteleza si kuanguka, meaning a slip is not a fall. Clearly, the saying tells us that life must continue regardless of some mishaps. It is like describing your glass as half full, not halfway, not half empty. Yes, when we describe our glasses as half full, we see it, we're optimistic. We look on the brighter side of life. We see the glass getting full. Even when it's getting empty, we need to encourage ourselves. But when you describe the glass as half empty, you are pessimistic. You're looking on the dark side of life. You see the glass empty, you are despairing. And if you describe your glass as halfway, then you really don't know which way. You are sitting on the fence. You are a fence sitter. So, kuteleza si kuanguka. A slip is not a fall. If you failed in one subject, that's a slip, is not a fall. Still describe your glass as half full. See it getting full. Don't see it getting empty, not half empty. Don't see it staying there halfway. Don't be a fence sitter. Now, therefore, just before you think of quitting, 1, remind yourself what you are going back to. If you are happy with your life in the first place, you would have never ventured on this journey to achieve something greater. You tried because you wanted to get out of where you are. So don't quit. Remind yourself, what are you going back to? You are not happy in the first place. You are not comfortable. If you tried something and you fail and you go back, no, that should not be an option. Number 2, remind yourself that most people would quit. Now, doing what most people do will only grant you what most people have. If you want different results than what most people get, you need to be willing to do what most people want. Not quitting is one of those things. Don't quit. You see, if you keep doing what you are doing, you will keep getting the same results. So, innovate, learn from what you've done, and see whether or not you can do better. So, don't quit. Remind yourself that most people quit, not you. Number 3, remind yourself that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward. No matter where you are in life, if you are looking to achieve something great, how far up you need to climb determines the magnitude of the challenges you will encounter. Yes, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Of course, the other way is also possible, that the bigger the risk, the bigger the loss. But we don't want to describe our glass as half empty. We want to describe it as half full. And if you get that positive, attitude, that optimistic attitude, then you will be motivated to go even further. Yes, Abdul Kalam, an aerospace scientist and statesman who was nicknamed the Missile Man of India, who served as the 11th president of India from 2002 to 2007, sums it up well for us. If you fail, never give up, because the word fail, F-A-I-L, means first attempt in learning. Yes, you fail, you consider that was just a first attempt in learning, and therefore got the second attempt and the third attempt. Thomas Edison made many attempts before he gave us the light bulb that we enjoy using up to today. Now, end, that is Abdul Kalam telling us, end is not the end. In fact, end, E-N-D, it says, means effort never dies. It's not the end of the road. Your effort will never die. So the negative connotation of end, convert it positive. And don't get no for an answer. If you get no as an answer, then remember, NO means next opportunity. In business, the break-even may be just round the corner, and the business has got ups and downs, the business cycle. Do not get scared. But of course, you must have gone into business with proper choosing, planning, and all that. Whichever case, don't give up, because success will be just around the corner. However, as soon as you made a mistake, reject that mistake, put it down, look at it, learn why. Can we learn something from that mistake? Because we learn from mistakes, and we've been told failure is success in progress. I hope this makes you change your attitude about failure. Let us not scold our kids. Probably that is not their choice. We send our kids to school and they get a standard education. Not all of them get into where their talent is. And therefore, when our child fails or brings a great F, it pays to applaud him, to congratulate, and say, yes, you are capable of more. Next time, I know you are going to do better. I remember my girl comes home with a bad grade after she just ended second school. In primary school, she passed so well. She went to a prestigious school, a national school. Then the first year, she brings me a D, grade D, which is just next to F. She's scared. She thinks I'm going to scold her. But instead, I tell her, if you brought me an A, I will be very disappointed. This surprises my girl. She says, why, Dad? You wanted me to fail? I said, no. Year one, you have gotten a D. Learn from why did you get a D, so that in year two, you bring me a C, because you must improve. In year three, you bring me a B, and the fourth year, your final year, you come with an A. So the D that you have brought me should be for us to learn why the D and how can we make it better. So have a positive attitude towards failure, won't you?